right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the Akim and the few Akwat who may be listening. This is your brother Batakallah from the GMS camp here in Chicago, coming back at you with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, and Lord willing, this will be an edifying lesson. All right, and the title of this lesson is Expect to be Tested. All right, and I was fortunate enough to see the beloved Elder D-Mash yesterday, and we had a conversation. And, I'm not going to get into detail about what we were talking about, but the moral of the message he was trying to get across was that, expect Satan to try and be fucking with you, man. Expect to go through certain things that's going to test you, all right? Especially the longer and longer, that you're in this truth. The more tests are going to come and the more difficult the tests are going to be, but you got to stay down and you got to stay on fire. All right. And that was the gist of the message he was giving. All right. But Lord willing, to get these precepts and it'll be edifying. This is Sirach 2:1. All right. My son, if thou come to serve Yahweh, prepare thy soul for temptation. Set thy heart aright and constantly endure and make not haste in time of trouble. All right. And, this was this basically sums up what he was saying. All right. Understanding that, the more you're in this truth, the longer you're in this truth, the more you're growing in this truth, the more you're going to be dealing with tests and the more Satan is going to be fucking with you, man. But that's his job and he got a job to do and we got a job to do. All right. So we just like it's his job to put obstacles in our way and to test us. Hey, it's our job to endure those things and to do it with the right spirit. All right. This is verse 3. It says, cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate. For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. So we have to go through these tests and these things that the Lord puts us through, even though Satan is the one who is carrying out the act. The Lord is the one who prescribed these tests for us. The Lord is the one who told Satan, go test him with this, go test him with that. All right. And you can read the book of Job to get the verification on how that works. All right. But, at the end of the day, everything that we go through is the Lord has prescribed for us to go through. And it's for our betterment at the end of it all. We just have to hold up our end of the bargain. All right. And, a big step in doing that is understanding what you're involved in and understanding what comes with the territory of being in this truth and what comes with the territory of fighting to be a man of the Lord and to receive salvation. All right. This is Luke 9:62. It says, and Yahushai said unto him, no man having put his hand to the plow and looking back is fit for the kingdom of Yahweh. All right. So once we're in, we're in. All right. There is no turning back. If you turn back, you're going to die. All right. Unless the Lord has mercy on you and allows you to repent again from whatever folly it is that took you away from him, but that's a gamble you don't really want to play around with. All right. We're in this thing and, you got to treat every day in this thing like it's your last day in this thing, because the Lord can take the spirit away from you at any time if you're not fighting the way that he wants you to fight. All right. And, once again, a big part of that is not being offended in the scriptures, not being offended in the things that are put in front of us, the tests that we have to endure. All right. This is Matthew 11:6. It says, and blessed is he whomsoever shall not be offended in me. All right. Because, hey, it's like Pops, the beloved Pops here in Chicago always says, it's about the good, the bad, and the ugly of the scriptures. It's not just about the good. All right. We have an understanding of the good, the bad, and the ugly, and we accept all of those things. All right. And that's what this is about. All right. And at the end, it's going to be all good for us. But we have to go through the bad and the ugly right now to get to that good part. And that's what we're doing. All right. And, you can't get offended in that, because that's what makes us better. That's what helps us grow in the spirit. And we deserve far worse than our iniquity. Our iniquities should be punished with far greater than what we're being punished with. All right. I believe the scriptures phrase it as being punished less than our iniquities deserve. All right, we've done a lot of wicked things, not just in this life, but in past lives. And those things have to be paid for. And the Lord is really letting us off easy by giving us an opportunity to pay for it by making our body a living sacrifice and serving him. Because those who don't do that, they're going to pay for it with thermonuclear fire. And those Israelites that do catch a nuke and catch this chariot fire, they're going to have to bear the shame of being a 2/3 in the kingdom for however long the Lord burdens them with that. We don't want to deal with those things. We want to get it right on the first go round, so to say. All right, which means that we need to make ourselves a living sacrifice and do the things that are required for salvation here and now, to the best of our ability. This is 2nd Esdras 7:9. It says, if this city, referring to the kingdom of heaven, if this city now were given unto a man for an inheritance, if he never shall pass the danger set before it, how shall he receive this inheritance? All right. So in order to receive the kingdom, you have to go through the straight gate. You have to deal with these trials, tribulations, and tests that the Lord is putting us through on this side to get to the other side. All right. And if you don't pass these tests, if you don't pass through this way, then you're not going to be receiving salvation on the first go round. If you're an Israelite, yeah, you'll be born into the kingdom as a nutsack Israelite, as the elder Malcolm says, but you'll have to go through death by pain on this side, and you'll have to bear the shame of being a 2/3 in the kingdom, as mentioned before. All right. But once again, we don't want to do that. We would rather go through the straight gate, make our body a living sacrifice, and pay for the things that we have to pay for now, so that when the real pain comes, when the real judgment comes, we're found worthy to receive salvation instead of having to be, cannon fodder for these nukes and for the chariots. All right. So, hey, man, didn't want to take too long on this. Just wanted to be quick. But what the elder was saying and what he told me was heavy, and it was weighing on my spirit. And, I just wanted to get something down on wax, covering what he said, because it was very important, and it's something that we all need to hear. And it's something that I needed to hear first and foremost, and, the Lord will do that. The Lord will put, the spirit on his men around you to say certain things or to teach you certain things that'll get you through whatever you're going through at that particular time in your life. And, always remembering that we got the victory at the end of the race. The game has already been decided. We just have to play our part and do our part, and we'll be on the right side of things, And regardless of what things may look like or how situations may seem, the Lord is going to take care of us through all those things if we believe in him and do the things that we're supposed to do. So that's what we have to do. That's a part of our end of the bargain. We have to hold up our end. All right. But hey, man, the Lord is really dealing. The Lord is really blessing us. And even in your own individual case, you may not see the changes that you've made, or you may not notice certain things because you see yourself every day, but the brothers that's around you, they can see the growth in you. And, we're all inspiring one another. And that's something that we got to keep in mind. We seek out our own salvation with fear and trembling because, we all have to face the Lord as individuals. But at the same time, we're here for each other as well, man. We're here to push each other. We're here to motivate each other when that's needed. And, we're here to drag each other along when that's needed, man. That's why we got brothers. That's why the Lord put us in this thing with other people to lean on, other men to lean on, that's been doing this longer than us, or even brothers that's younger than us in this truth. The Lord puts us around his men to help us with our journey, man. And we got to believe that. So with that, we're going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem, Yahushai Bashem, Makakwadash, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the Akim and the few Akwath who may be listening. Lord willing, this is an edifying lesson. Until next time, Kwam Yasharala Wa Abababal.